Welcome to my first ever time lapse. So, as I had a lot going on over the last week, I also figured it's a good opportunity for me to expand my abilities and my knowledge on different formats. So, I thought that this would be a appropriate time to try a time lapse. I would have liked to have tried it when the barn was coming down, but I also didn't want to screw it up, seeing as it was my very first time doing a time lapse on the barn coming down, because that's not the type of thing that I could just do again. Um, I did ask the guys if they would put it up one more time and let me watch it go down again, but they said that joke had been said to them multiple times. So we all have those jokes in every profession that as soon as someone says it, we groan as the person thinks they're being original. And in fairness, I didn't think I was being original on that joke. I just was amusing myself. That being said, this is the first day of crushing rocks, which has only happened for about 2.5 hours. But the process to use all the rocks is going to be at least 3 days. Now, when I say at least 3 days, because two of them have already elapsed and I still have a massive pile of rock that I have to use up, but for what I wanted to do, I couldn't do it right away because the metal bin was still there and I wanted to put some where that is. So, as they were crushing the rocks, this gentleman was doing a great job making a path for me. I wanted a path that was basically solid so that I could get to the old cow yard, which was cemented. But to get to it, I would have to go through a lot of soft dirt. And never going through this before, I didn't know exactly how much rock I would have or how far it would go. So I was hoping to at least get the path done. And well, it came very obvious that I was going to have way more than that. So I had previously told him that I would like to put some in front of the pole barn if as well, if there was enough. Now I didn't think that I was going to get the whole front of the pole barn filled in as well as my path. And the guys were great because when I kind of told them that I would like to put some more in that area, it wasn't really prepped and ready to go. So they did take a few minutes. They went over and cleared some more topsoil out of the way. There is a section that we left because there was some railway ties. So I told them not to worry about that part, just do the topsoil around it, and I would do the railway ties another day, which I did the next morning. But they were really great and cooperative, and they were actually volunteering to do this extra, which I did not expect. And there's definitely some skill as well to making this path. The rocks are fairly large, anywhere between an inch or two to say 3 to 4 inches. So it is very easy just to put all the rocks and not worry about anything to kind of pack it together. And he was really good at making sure that some of the basically the dirt grind, so to speak, the small, almost dusty type stuff was in there, which will help pack it together and make it a better driving surface. So he did a really good job of mixing that up and making sure that that was there, which would act as a bit of a bonding agent. And it'll take some time to really kind of flush out and make that path nice and level, and I'll have to play around with it. Ideally, you would go and order some crushed rock and put it on top just to kind of fill in the little edges and the ups and downs a little bit. But we're not really going to invest a lot of money into this property at this point. So this is a nice to have, not a need to have. So we're not going to worry about that. I'm just happy not to be getting stuck trying to get to the pole barn if I needed something out of the pole barn. And we're just going to skip a little ahead here to the next morning. And you can see that the gentleman left me a very nice stack beside the path there because I was going to add it into the spot right in front of the pole barn that I'm clearing now. So once upon a time, my dad had put some railway ties down in front of the pole barn, because when you would drive in and out of the pole barn with some of the larger tractors, which are larger to the 80s and small to 2024, it would get stuck, or it was just a little bit harder. And he had these railway ties sitting around, so he put them in there. So now I am getting rid of them all. And all considering, a lot of them had been there for 20 years, they actually held up really, really well. So I was kind of impressed with that, but unfortunately, they are difficult to get rid of because they're kind of toxic, unfortunately, with the material that's on it. So they're a little bit difficult to dispose of. But that being said, I am getting rid of them from the ground, digging them all up, and some spots were nice and easy. Some spots, I don't know where in the video, or if I even got it on the video, because I did run out at one point, and I really wasn't worried about running out, just due to the fact that I kind of figured I had more than enough, no matter how far my video made it before I ran out. And there's somewhere I got my back tires very high up in the air. I've never actually stalled it before until this day, for getting it on a bit of an angle. So I did do that once, and again, I think that was not on camera, but it was a process. And basically, I'm using the grapple here, and I love the grapple. The first John Deere dealership that I went to refused to give me the third function to have the grapple on there. And the majority of work I knew I was going to be doing over this last summer and last fall, I knew I needed the grapple. So I went to another dealership, and they hooked me up exactly the way I wanted to, and they gave me much, much better service than the other one. So I'll give a props to Premier John Deere. They did a phenomenal job. They're the one, there's multiple locations. This is the Osbridge location in Ontario. So they gave me great help, and they set me up really nice. And this grapple has been spectacular, and I use it all the time. And I switched it out to the bucket so I could clean off the top and kind of make it easier to work. Eventually, when I switched it out to the bucket to get rid of the soil, I actually start making one trip of rock, putting it in, and one trip of topsoil going the other direction, just to save on time. But I had to get far enough along that I could actually do that before I started doing the, two purposes on every single trip. There were still some more ties that I had to switch out to the grapple one more time before I could fully finish it. And I'm doing it right now, and it is so simple to switch out between the bucket and the grapple, and you can see right there how fast and easy it was. Even in time lapse, it's super fast. And in the background, you could see the gentleman was back that has been helping us. This was going to be their last day there, and he was just leveling out some topsoil that was from the dump, and just getting some metal gone as well. And basically, that was going to be it. You actually can see in a few minutes he came up, and we just kind of said our goodbyes. I did kind of cut that out because it's kind of boring just watching the tractor sit in one spot. But he was a great guy. Really appreciated all of their work. Even here, my battery had died out, so you kind of missed a good chunk of filling up the gravel. But again, I really wasn't overly worried because I just wanted to get the work done. But you can see it's so much nicer now that the entire front is filled up. And basically, by the time I was done this section, that little pile was all gone. The pile in the back is going to be another day's project because the metal bin was sitting in the way of where I wanted to do it. So that is something that I'll be doing this next week, and I haven't filled that yet. And I'll be able to have a nice drive all the way from the road into the pole barn when I want to switch things or my dad wants to get something. So that I am looking forward to. I was pretty happy to get that all done, and After that, honestly, I went and picked some big rocks for 3 hours. And after a long couple of weeks, I'm actually looking forward to the Christmas holiday and getting back at it next week. But I'm looking forward to a day or two off to get ready for Christmas. And that wraps up another video, and I hope you enjoyed, and please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.